Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of SEAkers podcast. And today we have our special guest, Mr. Eden. Could you introduce yourself a little bit?
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Hiek Narath, or just call me Eden, and I'm a senior student from IFL and National University of Management. You can call it NOM too.
Okay, right. So, what is our topic for today's podcast? We just know that the events for the SEA Games and the Para Game has just passed, and we would like to bring one of the volunteers who has helped the event possible, and we would like to know what his challenges were and what he learned from the experience. And today, I think we have one of the best volunteers here. I would like to know what was your role during the events, the SEA Game and the Para Game.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with the SEA Game first. So actually, I'm just a volunteer. During the SEA Game, I'm a medal announcer, meaning that I work only when there's a medal ceremony in Petong. Okay, and for the Para Games, an NTO, it's more like the National Technical Official in Busha. So yeah, and before these two events, I was in the recruitment and training team, meaning that I'm the one who recruit the volunteer, probably the thousands of volunteers, and we also have a training session with them as well.
I see. So, what motivated you to participate in the volunteering?
Okay, the things that motivate me is to participate in both events. You know, there are historical events that Cambodia just host in 2023, and actually I want to be a part of it. I want to see how the SEA Game working process, because I used to watch the some country and nation like they host the SEA Games and Para Game. I was like, okay, I wonder how the process of each step of from the pre-event, during event, and post-event. So that once I watched something like SEA Games Vietnam the 31st SEA Games, it's empowered me to I should be the ones that participate in SEA Games. Even though I'm not an athlete, I'm not the competes to get a medal, but I can be like a small part. Yeah, I can say it more like a DNA something. Yeah, it's called volunteer. It's a DNA of SEA Game and Para Game. So why not? So I should participate with these events.
Okay, so I think it's quite it's not quite. It's actually a really big event, and a lot of thousands of people or students volunteered for the program, the events, right? And from what I understand, it was around 6,000 volunteers.
Yes, like at first our target is around 7,000. Yeah, 7,000 volunteer. But when we going through like the training session, the recruitment period, we selected only 6,000. Over 6,000 volunteers.
That's still quite a lot, right? 6,000 management. How did it go? Like the training?
Okay, so as in SEA Games, there are many teams, I can say many teams that volunteer needs to go in, like from this hospitality, transportation, license officer, we can call LO, field, medical team. So yeah, that many team that they will be selected to be in, and then each team they have more like, how can I say, a main person there to train them, like to sharpen the skill, to sharpen what they should do during the games. So this is how we process. Doesn't mean we have to meet all like 6,000 volunteers in a hall or a space, another space, but we just assign them to the team, and they will be the leaders to lead them. So we just from me as a recruitment and training team, we just recruit all of them, and we just train them with the general skill. For example, how to stand like for 6 hours, and okay, and how to communicate with the foreigners. I think like the tourists, the audience, I can say in general, and athletes. It's more like it's more than just volunteer. We technically work with the international technical officer, like how the game process. For example, like I worked in Busha, okay, to see the Busha competition. So if we compare how the difference between volunteer and NTO or ITO, so for volunteer they just facilitate, the one who facilitate the whole event, ensure that it went smoothly. But for my role as an NTO, I technically I have to learn how to play that games, how we score that game, and we see how to spot the error or some problem that happened during the games. And also on top of that, just I'm also an MC and medal announcer as well, and it's quite challenging for me. Like, so I just asked my team lead to can I just be only an MC and the medal announcer, because if I would be to go or take over the competition field, I think it would be tough for me because there are many things to do at one time.
Right. So to clarify, you oversee the game to spot the mistakes.
Sure.
Did you have to go through trainings or did you have to learn about the game?
Sure. Before the game start, I have been trained for I think a week before the game start. Yeah. So we just briefly, I just briefly explain. I mean, the team explained about the term and condition during the game, and how to qualify the athlete, the equipment that they used. That is what we did before the games.
I see, right. So that's quite a lot. It's just everything is packed, and you're also a student. You also have to deal with assignments and everything. So I suppose there are many challenges that you face. But before we get into that, I would like to say thank you to our venue sponsor, AUPP, American University of Phnom Penh, for the spacious room and equipments for our podcast. So next question is the challenges that you faced during the volunteering. What were the main problems or issues that you have to deal with, and how did you cope with those issues?
Okay, so the challenges that I've been encountered during both games, I can say. So I'm gonna talk about the SEAGame first. So I think it was good for me to be a part of the SEAGame, but what is the most challenges for me is standing in front of the local and international audience with the how can I say, the international athletes, and I have to well behave, like make sure that my voice, my tone is sound politely good. I have to adjust my tone because as an medal announcer, we not just have only like use the, I can say, monotone, right?
Right.
We somehow we can have the right tone, the peak one when we announce for the gold medal. And for the first time, I was shaking. I have a video, like I'm standing and I'm shaking, like what should I do next? What should I do next? And what I did is just carrying like a script, and I read it. It's not an announcement. It's more like, okay, I'm reading a document to everyone. Okay, so for the second time and the third times, it was better. And I think what challenges me is how encounter the situation. It was tough for me to handle. Like especially the most important things is about pronouncing the athlete name.
Yeah,
international
right? Names.
Yeah, especially for Cambodia athlete. I think we can pronounce pronounce their name well. I think it's quite challenging for me because before I announce the medal, I have to go to, somehow, their chief of missions to ask, okay, how we pronounce his or her name, especially for the group. Like in a short time, we have I have to pronounce like 3 names. Okay, read 1, 2, 3. So it's quite challenging for me. This is for the SEA Games. But for the Para Game, I think all of the problem that happens during the SEA Games, it went good, it's fine. But what challenges for me during the Para Games is how I behave, like my postures, my facial expression, because I can say we weren't allowed to smile or to laugh more. Yeah, so it's probably if you just stand and see the competition and suddenly your friend come and just telling you about a joke and then you laugh, like I laugh, and then they might think mock on the the athletes, and also maybe they can see some view of humiliation, like okay, why you laugh at them? That the athlete with disability, they need a lot of care. We have to be more careful on how to interact with them and express the emotion as well as our expression. So this is quite challenging.
Yeah. So that's quite a lot. First, the SEA Game. Basically everything is live streamed. Everyone is watching you. Although they're not watching you, you feel like you have to be like prepared all the time. So apart from the challenges that you faced, what was the most memorable experience, or what happened that made you remember the experience during the volunteering?
Okay, the memorable experience is, how can I say, the first time I was to be an MC or the announcer on the international stage. So I will remember this moment like forever. Maybe I can pass through my next generation that, okay, hey son, I used to be an MC on the international stage at SEA Games that our country, initially host. So this is what I think it can be the most memorable experience during both games. So yes.
So overall, after everything is complete, what is the advice that you have for anyone who wants to try volunteering?
I think, don't expect anything from volunteer, but how can I say, the development or the improvement, and when you reflect, I can say like a self-reflection, you will see how the difference before you participate in volunteer and after. So I think for all students, or I can say both university and the high school, I think you should participate. I think at least 1 or 2 even like as a volunteer to learn how can I say, like the true meaning of life, like how and how you experience like the work-life balance. If you would like to explore yourself more, what you're good at, just you can do a volunteer work first. Yeah. So you will see how the people works. You will see how yourself responds or reacts to the specific circumstance or situation that comes to you. Especially you will be good at problem solving as well. Yeah, like meeting the new people can lead to the many, I can say problem or the issue as well. This is how I learn from volunteer. I don't pay any money to learn from the other people, like pay for school or private course to learn it, but I learn it from volunteer. So it means a lot for you if you want to learn something new beyond what you learn from the school or the universities that you've been enrolled.
And as a volunteer myself, I can verify all of that. And it's a really good thing that you have the heart and effort to volunteer. And there are a lot of challenges, of course, that we experience. And those challenges, of course, we will overcome it at the end of the day. It's just that we have to push through it and do what we like. And that's really important. So to conclude this podcast, I would like you to describe the experience for your volunteering during the SEA Game and the Para Game in just one word. How would you describe the whole experience?
Okay, for the whole experience, one word, right?
Yes, just one word.
Proud.
Proud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then what could you explain it a bit? Yeah.
Okay, as I mentioned, like why I feel proud of myself to be a part of this historical events or historical games, and that how I can show my potential, show my skills to everyone from the different country, especially on the international stage. So I feel proud of myself that, okay, I can do it. And also I feel proud of my home country that we together can host like this event like very well and smooth. So yeah, it's may empower me to participate in the next game. Probably I think in 2029 there would be like some event too, but I don't remember. It can be like an Pacific game, youth game, something. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing it, and if I still have a chance to participate in, I will.
That's really inspiring, and that one word is just touching. And to everyone who's watching, I think this is a really good time to just go out and explore your skills. And thank you to Eden for spending your time with us today. I hope you enjoyed the interview, and I hope everyone's watching enjoyed the podcast. And not to forget, thank you to AUPP for the spacious venue and the amazing equipment, the comfortable space for us to host this podcast. I hope to see you in the next episode, and don't forget to like and share this podcast. Thank you, and bye-bye.